Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family of the class of 2023. I am honored to be welcoming you to Medina City Schools Ken Duke Stadium for our commencement activities for the graduating class of 2023. Before we begin today's program, in honor of today's ceremony, the class of 2023 asks that you please be respectful of all of our graduates and please hold your applause until the last name is read. Would you please join me in welcoming the Medina City Schools Board of Education members and distinguished guests. Entering the stadium at this time is the Superintendent of the Medina City School District, Mr. Aaron Sable. The Assistant Superintendent of the Medina City School District, Dr. Christine Kwalik. The Medina City School Board of Education President, Mrs. Rebecca Parkhurst. Vice President, Ms. Jean Pritchard. And board members, Mr. Joe Nichols, Mr. Ron Ross, and Mr. Andrew West. Following the Board of Education is Medina City School District Treasurer, Mr. David Chambers. Superintendent of the Medina County Career Center, Mr. Stephen Chrisman. Director of Pupil Services, Mrs. Mina Pazitka. And Director of Technology, Mr. Craig Komar. Also entering are faculty members, Mrs. Laura Kaliakovo, Mrs. Alexandra Musselman, Mrs. Erin Vlagels, Mrs. Stephanie Idabrew, Mrs. Michelle Labuglio, and Mr. Michael Mazingo. As the class of 2023 is seated, you will notice the various academic awards that they have earned and are wearing today. Students who are wearing gold tassels are receiving the Ohio Diploma with Honors. They have met criteria set by the State Board of Education, which includes grade point average, specific curriculum, ACT, SAT scores, and real-world experiences. 192 students have earned a gold tassel. Specifically, 187 students have earned a gold tassel for the Ohio Academic Honors Diploma. 2 students have earned a gold tassel for the Ohio Career Tech Honors Diploma, and 2 students have earned a gold tassel for the Ohio STEM Honors Diploma. 1 student earned a gold tassel for the Arts Honor Diploma. Please join me in congratulating our students earning the Ohio Diploma with Honors. Students are also distinguished for National Honor Society by a gold cord that is worn around their neck. Students are chosen by the faculty on the basis of outstanding scholarship, leadership, character, and service. 82 seniors have earned this honor. The students wearing the purple and silver cords are members of the Medina County Career Center National Technical Honor Society. We are honored to have 9 students who have earned this recognition. Please join me in congratulating students earning Honor Society. The class of 2023 also represents high academic achievement with 1 National Merit Commended student, Colin Barbaric. This student scored within the top 4% of all students nationwide who took the 2022 PSAT. The class of 2023 also has 2 National Merit finalists, Braden Morford and Giovanni Stabile. These students scored within the top 1% of all students nationwide who took the 2022 PSAT. Congratulations. Within the class of 2023, we have 5 young men and women who have enlisted in the United States military and are denoted by a red, white, and blue medal. Enlistments are spanning the United States Marine Corps, United States Army, and the Ohio Army National Guard. In addition, this class has earned over $160,000 in national, state, and local scholarships and over $3.5 million in college, university, and military scholarships. This generous giving by our school community is greatly appreciated by the class of 2023 and is representative of the traditional support given to our students by members of our community. Many of these seniors have participated in numerous school performances and competitions in co-curricular, athletic, and academic areas, all bringing high levels of achievement and continued positive recognition to our school and community. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ken Duke Stadium. Welcome to the 148th Annual Commencement Exercises of Medina High School. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in welcoming Colin Joseph Barbaric, presenting Conquering the Unknown.
We did it. We survived. Yeah. I know that there have definitely been some biology tests that I thought would be my end. And I guess inhaling all that baby powder in the swarm didn't turn out to be fatal. At least, not yet. This year, we gained a new understanding of fashion, learning to perfectly pair any outfit with the omnipotent lanyard. And, of course, we elected the single greatest homecoming queen in the history of homecoming queens, Sarah Memberg. It's been an incredible journey. I'd like to look back on that journey and see what it may tell us about our future. Throughout our last 12 years together, we did a lot. We made friends in Mr. Wilhelm's kindergarten class. We played infected out on the third grade playground and lost many games of chess to Mr. Pafumi. We said goodbye to what seemed like everything we knew and dove headfirst into the most terrifying experience of our young lives, middle school. We asked ourselves, when did lockers get that big? Why do we have to learn the recorder? Are we sure that everyone here knows how to shower? We made new friends. We pretended to read a lot of books in language arts, and somehow we still made it past the tests. And in the end, we again faced a leap of faith into the twisted, demented halls of Medina High School. To many of us, myself included, it seemed at first that we would never make it out of this place alive. We laughed, we cried. Some of us studied, others had a life. And by some miracle, we all made it to graduation. And now, juxtaposed against our feelings of accomplishment and the congratulations of those around us, is something else. As we stand again upon the precipice of a graduation, we stare into the face of the unknown. We see seemingly infinite possibilities, and for a high schooler, there's possibly nothing more terrifying. Out before us stretch decades of our life, and none of us can say for certain how it will go. I may think that I know what my major in college will be, but do I? And even if I do, what comes next? What will I do for a living? More importantly, what will I do with my life? What will my purpose be? I mean, will I even find one? In these moments, it's easy for the unknown to resemble an empty night sky, a dark, inky blackness that consumes and suffocates everything it touches. In these moments, it's our most arduous struggle to find a light in the unknown. Before we get into our collective futures, I'd like to take a moment to remind us all of a time that we truly glimpsed the unknown. March 13th, 2020. That day was the last day before a few days off. A few days off that turned into an extended spring break, that turned into the rest of the year at home, that turned into another year spent staring at a computer screen. For the first time in our lives, we witnessed all of the adults around us having no idea what they were doing at all. We heard different things from all directions. When to wear a mask, when not to, whether or not to wash every solitary thing you brought home from the grocery store. Stories of people feeding their spouses to tigers. everything that you'd expect in a global pandemic. But looking back more than 3 years later, I'm happy to say that the toilet paper market did recover, and we can all use the bathroom unafraid of shortage. COVID taught us how to handle uncertainty. It challenged each of us in vastly different ways, and we persevered. Throughout all of it, even when it seemed that we'd never recover, we learned to trust in ourselves and in those around us, that it would all be okay. And as we stand here today, though we are not unchanged and we remember those whom we lost, we stand vindicated. The unknown can be conquered. What we don't know can be terrifying, but it is never something we cannot overcome. Our futures are unknown. Some of us may have an idea of where we'd like to work or what branch of military we'd like to join or of another path altogether, but not one of us is certain. Before we embark on that journey, I'd like to share a piece of wisdom I'm happy was once shared with me. It's a simple question. What's the difference between nervousness and excitement? It seems obvious, but it's deceptively difficult to answer because they share so much. They both stem from not knowing what will happen. The only actual difference is what you think will happen. If I'm nervous, it's because I think, consciously or subconsciously, that something bad will happen. Being excited is exactly the same, but you think something good will happen. As you venture out into the world, remember this, and find excitement in the freedom you now have. It's okay to be uncertain or even a little afraid. You certainly aren't alone. My only plea is that you don't allow that fear to dictate how you choose to live your life. Now is not the time to have everything figured out. Now is the time to make new friends, to experiment, to expand your comfort zone, to find your passions, and to fail. Fail in so many endeavors that you lose count. Learn to fail zealously and take from it wisdom, not disappointment. Live your life for yourself, not for the expectation others thrust upon you. As we say goodbye to the halls that we've called home for the last 4 years, please take a moment to reflect on other times in your life when you've made this leap. Whether it was your first time walking these halls, or joining an unfamiliar club, or even just saying hi to someone new. We've all waded into the unknown, and we've all survived. And hey, look where it got us. We are the greatest class to ever walk these halls, and I could not ask for a better group of individuals to face the challenges of our future, large and small. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for these last 4 years. Your kindness, dedication, and courage have taught me so much about who I want to be. All that I ask is that you take those values with you and make your own path. Live boldly, have no regrets, and conquer the great unknown. You are Medina's class of 2023.
Thank you, Colin. Please welcome Superintendent, Mr. Aaron Sable.
On behalf of Medina City Schools, I'd like to welcome everyone to the commencement ceremony for the graduating class of 2023. My name is Aaron Sable, and it's my honor and pleasure to serve Medina City Schools as superintendent for the past 8 years. I'd like to thank our parents, guardians, grandparents, and family members for your unending support. Students, please take a moment to show your appreciation. Next, I'd like to say thank you to all the employees in the school district. Every staff member plays a vital role in educating our students now more than ever. If every employee of the district in attendance could please stand so you can be recognized. Let's also recognize the graduates who are dedicating themselves to the various branches of our military. The commitment you are making to our country is highly commendable. Please stand and be recognized. The class of 2023 has had anything but a normal high school experience. You were sent home as freshmen to forge a frontier of online school. You returned as sophomores to pioneer hybrid learning, social distancing, sanitizing, and quarantining. Your junior year was all about COVID counts, contact tracing, and the ever-looming possibility of having to sit out school and activities for 10 days because of a positive test that may not have even been yours. Now you all sit here at the culmination of your senior year, your one normal year of high school, that normal we had all craved throughout the pandemic. But was this year really back to normal? Normal is not necessarily the way things used to be, currently are, or will be. Normal is a set of circumstances which establishes our daily experiences that are either out of our control or in our control. Stress, anxiety, depression, and fatigue are often the result of trying to establish a normal through uncontrollable circumstances. Many of us experienced this during the pandemic. So how do we reclaim and establish a normal? By putting our energy towards the things that we can change and control. This will allow us to not only reclaim normal, but own our normal. Imagine if we did this as a collective, collaborative unit. Then normal becomes positive change rather than longing for an unachievable normal and letting change happen to us. Infinite adaptability is key to success in the ever-changing and modernizing world you are all entering. Will uncontrollable variables in life stay the same? The pandemic has taught us that the answer is clearly no. That means we must be prepared to continue to adapt the controllables to ensure that we are accomplishing our goals for our normal. This occurs through empowering ourselves and others to use innovative methods and approaches to find answers. Going through life solving problems with preset provided formulas is a linear path and an outdated approach. It's from an era where students sat in rows and were fed the facts they needed to know by their teachers. Students were not asked to solve problems, but were directed on how they should be solved. Your smartness was measured by the facts you knew and how you could regurgitate them on a test. These methods created successful adults and citizens because they were developed during the Industrial Revolution, a time when we were preparing people to work their lives doing rote assembly line work. This old way of learning, problem solving, and smartness will not create success in the 21st century. Learning can no longer solely be about content. It must be about application, collaboration, and resilience. Students need to be able to solve problems in multiple innovative ways. Smartness isn't about how much you know, especially with the incredible amount of information available in the palm of your hand, but how you apply the information you have access to. Technology has taken over many of the tasks we used to prepare students for, such as robots on assembly lines, GPS units telling us when to turn left, and vehicles driving themselves. It's the soft skills that are vital for our future generations. It's the skills we developed as a school and community in our portrait of a bee. Respectful citizens, responsible decision makers, collaborators, communicators, innovative problem solvers, and resilient lifelong learners. The class of 2023 might be one of the most prepared groups of graduates to ever leave the halls of Medina High School. You have gained skills during your high school experience to adapt, change, and adjust your normal, and to solve problems in new ways. These skills, which were not traditionally taught in school, are what make you so prepared for your futures in an ever-evolving world. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Sable. I now have the pleasure of introducing Alexandra Lynn Davis Romine, presenting Be a Bee. Good morning, Medina High School, class of 2023, staff, families, and community members. We have made it. Most importantly, graduates, you have made it. For one final time, we sit together on this field as a swarm. You know, we hear that a lot here in the home of the Bees. For every sporting event, from football to bowling, we swarm. In academics, such as speech and debate and science Olympiad, we swarm. Around the community, from marching band shows to volunteering, we swarm. But what makes a swarm? Bees. Most importantly, you, the bee. From our time at Medina, we have grown into bees that now have a plethora of skills and attributes that will lead to success after we leave here today. We are, dare I say, the portrait of a bee. And through these learned traits, we are going to help create a positive change wherever we land. From college to the workforce to the military, let us see today that by being a bee, you will make a change. And by being Medina Bees forever, we will always have a community to support our endeavors. First bee, believer. You undoubtedly made it to the chair you are sitting in today because some part of you believed that you could. We can all agree that this was not an easy adventure. As a class, we experienced the typical challenges. From a nomenclature chemistry test that seemed like a different language, to Spanish class where you actually had no clue the language in front of you. We were just like the rest. But even further, we, as the class of 2023, were thrown into an unknown world during the first year of our high school career. We were tasked with developing new opportunities and had to work together to change the status quo, creating a belief and now reality that we would be okay. From the outreach and advocacy of mental health needs within our student body, to the reinvigorating spirit that came from the post-isolated world, it took us as individuals to swarm together and create such an impactful high school experience. Going into the world as a graduated Medina Bee, have confidence within yourself that you can overcome challenges and adversity. You are able to examine, learn, and persevere because of the obstacles you have faced as a student in today's society. You are a resilient, lifelong learner. Be a believer, believe in yourself. Next E, educator. Just like bees in a hive, we have had the opportunity to learn, collaborate, and educate. Oftentimes, when speaking about education, we are quick to reflect on our perspective as a student sitting behind a desk, listening to the words presented on the screen in front of us. But not only were we the ones being educated, we were educators of the space around us.
Every day we were impacting the lives of someone. Link crew members advised freshmen on how to get around the seemingly daunting building. We impacted the children of the future by making meaningful connections with huddle students at elementary schools. Students, you even worked to educate your teachers about what's important to this generation. By understanding the differences in our population and using our resources to grow, we are now great collaborators who can communicate with society to help educate others about the topics that are important to us. Whether it be an individual peer or business meeting, you have the experience to effectively educate and to be an educator. Final E, explorer. From the day we walked into this building as tiny, curious freshmen, we began to search for our place of belonging. We met new people, experienced new classes, and were exposed to a whole new world. You have learned to be an innovative problem solver with the capability to adapt and critically think about the world around you. You have had to make decisions responsibly with an understanding of their effects on society. This should help each of you to feel comfortable exploring all the possibilities that are about to come our way. Be excited about the prospective explorations on which you are about to embark, and flexible in finding your place in this world and what you are passionate about. At the end of the day, being a Medina Bee, believer, educator, and explorer has only been possible by being in our swarm of bees. Which brings me to S, supporter. Graduates, let me remind you that when you leave today, there is something that will never leave you. And that is the utmost support from our staff, families, and Medina community. You are now ready to go off and be extravagant believers, lasting educators, and curious explorers. And you should have the understanding that you come from a place that will always be swarming for you. From the connections that you have made between teachers and businesses to the very friends that you have sitting in that cafeteria, Medina is always here for you. Be that support for others when things get tough, and lean back on each other to carry yourselves through this wild journey. Today, celebrate your accomplishments. Remember the moments that happened on this field, within those halls, and at our very classroom seats. But most importantly, have confidence that you have become a believer, educator, and explorer. For one final time, we swarm for graduation. But for the rest of our lives, you are a bee and will always have the bees. Thank you, class of 2023. And as always, go bees!
Thank you, Lexi. Medina High School graduating class of 2023. I wish you success, and now, as principal of Medina High School, I certify with great honor that these students have met all academic requirements for graduation as set forth by the Medina City School Board of Education and State of Ohio. I present this class to the Board of Education and recommend that they be granted their diplomas, signifying graduation from Medina High School as the class of 2023. I would now like to call to the podium the class of 2023.
Good morning, families, friends, and graduates. As we begin to recognize our seniors, please hold your applause until all student names have been called. It is important for us to be respectful of each student and allow for their name to be heard. Thank you, and we appreciate your cooperation. We will now begin with the presentation of diplomas to our outstanding class of 2023. Abby Nicole Acerto.
Tavion Matthew Alcorn.
Roman James Alessandro.
Christopher Edward Aponovich.
Charlie Michael Allen.
Justin Michael Armour.
Parker Elizabeth Allen.
Lucas James Augustine.
Ava Marie Alm.
Carter Daniel Richard Ayala.
Angela Andrade.
Mason Scott Bear.
Arlo Gerard Wisner.
Kyler Thomas Barnard.
Micah Arthur Andrews.
Vincent Michael Berry.
Maxwell James Andrich.
Victoria Marie Barth.
Sydney Page Anello.
Nicholas Charles Beard.
William Guy Arthur Jr.
Nolan Edmund Beck.
Caitlin Marie Osmus.
Kaylee Irene Begovich.
Nathaniel David Baklowski.
Athena Love Bell.
Dakota Lee Bardo.
Daisy Burberry.
Delaney Marie Fogel.
Johnny Michael Bernard.
Alexandra Lynn Davis Romine.
Colin Joseph Barbaric.
Waverly Jackie Barnard.
Michaela Claire Blum.
Mason Corwin Bartleson.
Hallie Lynn Haycook.
Autumn Renee Bass.
Trinity Rose Bonnets.
Grace Winter Beshen.
Zachary Andrew Bowser.
Zurich Alexander Begin.
Willow Tion Bradford.
Dominic Ryan Belcastro.
Morgan Elizabeth Brenneman.
Zachary James Bennett.
Autumn Marie Brickley.
Veronica Lynn Berloven.
Mallory Grace Brown.
Aaron Lene Block.
Jordan Eulalia Hawkins.
Evan Michael Block.
Michaela Kendall Burton.
Charlie Rose Barco.
Mia Rose Kaminsky.
Gabrielle Therese Boston.
Annalise Marie Cabrera.
Ellen Christine Boyd.
Dylan Michael Caldwell.
Aiden Mark Brendel.
Ireland Lene Cargill.
Anna Elizabeth Bressler.
Caden Bradley Cassell.
Ryan Anthony Brode.
Brooklyn Paige Catherwood.
Mia Elizabeth Buca.
Eve Janelle Chester.
Emily Grace Zywicka.
Ross Andrew Sentliver.
Clayton Eugene Bush.
Joseph Donald Cipro.
Shane Matthew Byers.
Kirsten Maria Savovic.
Nicholas Jonathan Kabakungan.
George William Cobb IV.
Ian James Cadell.
Desmond Francis Sherry.
Jamie Lynn Calvi.
Evan Connor Corbin Tyre.
Fiona Christine Carvanus.
Jack Joseph Kortok.
Amelia Ray Cassidy.
John Martin Coyne IV.
Brianna Elizabeth Auker.
Brianna Lee Crooks.
Paul David Sicoli.
Nathaniel John Cummings.
Andrew Thomas Sicoli.
Noah Gregory Cusick.
Ryan Patrick Sapulo.
Jacqueline Amory Dacey.
Mason Anthony Clay.
Landon Allen Daum.
Samantha Grace Colbert.
Allison Grace Custer.
Christopher Conrique.
Connor Edward Dye.
Carlos Braylon Corchado.
Curtis DeVal DeBose Jr.
Alyssa May Coyne.
Abigail Rose DeLong.
Brian Jacob Creamers.
Corbin Forbes Derrig.
Ainsley Grace Culp.
Leela Elizabeth Dillon.
Colin Michael Cunningham.
Iwan Cyprian Donici.
Luke Thomas Zarnomsky.
Kaylee Kirsten Davis.
Meredith Ann Dar.
Malia Lillian Easton.
Lily Ann Davenport.
Lucy Olivia Eckstein.
John Thomas Dawson.
Nevaeh Nashay Ezel.
Kiara Elise Delappy.
Anna Lynn Farnsworth.
Julia Marie Denman.
Elliot William Fellows.
Carter Reese DeStephanis.
Joseph Frederick Fetzer.
Ella Maria DeCola.
Zachary Edward Fiorucci.
Mia Marie DePerno.
Gracie Gabriela Flores.
Lucas James Dudley.
Alexander James Flower.
Alexa Marie Zuro.
Brendan Jackson Forster.
Julia Eaton.
Aiden Christopher Fox.
Landon Mason Eimers.
Gavin McQuaid Fugit.
Andrew Patrick Falkowski.
Santo Carl Gambasini.
Kira Ray Ferris.
Sydney Shea Gannon.
Evan Michael Fiora.
Trishelle Latera Gauthier.
Aiden Thomas Zawadski.
Jack Philip Geyser.
Brandon Scott Fisher.
Elizabeth McGinley Gilday.
Luke Patrick Fisher.
Hope Renee Javelkian.
Maria Lillian Fodor.
Michael Scott Gleski.
Chase Alexander Foster.
Sarah Grace Gogolek.
Chase Dean Fry.
Evan Thomas Goodwin.
Noah Lawrence Gable.
Gabriel Lee Gorman.
Nicholas Robert Gandeo.
Madeline Kennedy Graham.
Julia Rose Gardner.
Jacob Matthew Gray.
Janelle Irene Gaiman.
Eva Despina Grillis.
Alexander Adam Giddens.
Joseph Frank Grimsick.
Patrick Christian Gillespie.
Dylan Ray Hack.
Matthew David Goebel.
Charles David Hagan.
Joseph Herbert Goodman.
Mark Philip Halstead.
Chase Ryan Gordon.
Anthony Trinidad Hamilton.
Hope Marie Gormley.
Gavin Carter Heck.
Zachary John Graham.
Benjamin Christopher Hess.
Angelina Starr Greenfelder.
William Christopher Hess.
Corinne Justine Haberney.
Colleen Laurel Johnson.
Marina Nicole Halkiadakis.
Grace Emma Duran.
Lindsay Nicole Halleck.
Jacob Anthony Duran.
Megan Elizabeth Hamidi.
Thomas Michael Komar.
Emma Rose Hanson.
Braden Samuel Morford.
Mackenzie Helene Schellenberger.
Andrew Paul Peeler.
Samantha Marie Bell Smoyer.
Santino Vicente Ramos.
Lydia Grace Ilg.
Michael Timothy Warnament.
Preston Ford Trumpler.
Zachary Mark Bugner.
Alina Marie Kalesa.
Allison Rose Hayest.
Zachary Daniel Hartman.
Lily Ann Henke.
Catherine Louise Bobby.
Ryan Arthur Herring.
Carter James Hines.
Nathan Aaron Hill.
Kylie Brooke Hennon.
Annabelle Nicole Hofer.
Tyler William Hiding.
Kira Kiana Holland.
Carter Michael Hip.
Avery Matthew Hounshell.
Dylan Russell Hoff.
Dylan Francis Howells.
Caitlin Elizabeth Horner.
Peyton Emily Hudak.
Matthew Edward Horner.
Mariah Nicole Hunt.
Scott Douglas Hernchar.
Leah Anna Mae Hutchins.
Patrick Trevor Hughes.
Jacob Thomas Hutz.
Eric Daniel Hurst.
Carlton Richard Jacobs.
Hanson Michael Huth.
Celia Jekyll.
Benjamin Graham Jackson.
Tyler Steele Jeppy.
Grace Catherine Jaycox.
Jasmine Marie Johnson.
Maya Ann Jenkins.
Joseph J. Jones.
Kaylee Elizabeth Yeager.
Kayla Jeanette Joyner.
Gavin Michael Zager.
Olivia Marie Hartman.
Lindsay Gail Jones.
Pavan Carr.
Michael Francis Yasavich.
Mackenzie Rose Kerr.
Christian John Byrne.
Haley Lynn Kendall.
Ariana Lee Keith.
Madeline Sue King.
Sophia Rose Kukurchek.
Allison Jaco Kling.
Kylie Alexis King.
Alyssa Ray Knudsen.
Alexis Jade Klein.
Logan James Kohler.
Claire Elizabeth Knight.
Claire Elaine Colasar.
Kendall Grace Kohler.
Sean Christopher Kovacs.
Jason Raymond Kalecki Jr.
Annabelle Jade Krejci.
Nathan Andrew Corduba.
Joseph Martin Krasinski.
Joshua Michael Koval.
Gavin Patrick Kirka.
Ansley Cynthia Krogh.
Sanskriti AJ Lakay.
Joseph Richard Kupek.
Grace Maria Lasco.
Cecilia Grace Kirko.
Marissa Elizabeth Lowry.
Michael James Kirko.
Chloe May Lazar.
Jesse Doward Langford.
Nathan James Lentz.
Rosalina Page Lodato.
Sydney Catherine Lewis.
Jacob Paul Warsick.
Kelsey Christine Leonard.
Alida Tatiana Leidy.
Chandler Walter Loomis.
Cohen Robert Lenhart.
Kirsten Michelle Luck.
Trent David Lenhart.
Hannah Faith Luna.
Ryan Patrick Livingston.
Sophia Mary Macklitz.
Lauren Alexandra Luzader.
Kirsten Marie Mamoni.
Abigail Jean Ludlow.
Brandon Michael Manjin Jr.
Lillian Catherine Ma.
Elizabeth Ann Markowitz.
Eleanor Rain Mahan.
Owen Graham Martell.
Elena Ann, Isabella Marie Moncala Pelli.
Jenna Avery Shabrowski.
Elena Ann Monzi.
Sarah Allison Memberg.
Mia Louise Marsala.
Isabel Marie Scott.
Abraham Mark Maxwell.
Aiden Thomas McCartney.
Natalie Renee McCausland.
Cadence Francis Metcalf.
Natalie Elizabeth McGraw.
Alexander Gregory Miller.
Jessica Lane Mellinger.
Katrina Marie Miller.
Marcus Brandon Masuti.
Daniel Frank Minnick.
Kate Elizabeth Maluski.
Joshua Logan Monroe.
Harrison John Miller.
Chloe Grace Morgan.
Tarjay Lachey Miller.
Sophia Teresa Delia Morris.
Danielle Lenice Monroe.
Ryan Michael Musser.
Joanna Gabriella Ovea.
Elena Nicole Majowski.
Kylie Elizabeth Morrison.
Rudolph Matthew Neal.
Michaela Renee Machowski.
Grace Ann Nelson.
Reese Young II.
Nicholas Paul William Newmeyer.
Tesnimi Ayub Najar.
Ethan Orson Neuwirth.
Gabrielle Olivia Yaskoviak.
Meryl Marie Nielsen.
Cambry Dylan Neuenschwander.
Emma Lynn Nort.
Aubrey Elizabeth Nura.
Gianna Patience McCann.
Faith Elizabeth Nichols.
Delaney J. O'Dear.
Caroline Noel Norman.
Richard Walter Ochendowski IV.
Ava Catherine Notarini.
Caitlin Nicole Andy.
Kaylee Elise O'Callaghan.
Alexander James Palanchek.
Emma Elizabeth O'Neill.
Jacob Brian Parker.
Dahlia Nabia O'Day.
Nadia Marie Parente.
Samuel Robert Parfumi.
Paris Jade Pasadine.
Ryan Arthur Palumbo.
Casey Marie Patterson.
Spencer Matthew Pappas.
Griffin Michael Pay.
James Theodore Pappas.
Rebecca Lauren Pazitska.
Adam Michael Pesuit.
Audrey Galen Pedro.
Davin Raj Paul Pawar.
Bryce Merrick Penaherrera.
Jalen Abrel Payne.
Kayla Leanne Perfect.
Jacob James Peacock.
Katie Sue Purdy.
Rachel Claire Pellegrini.
Erica Ann Peterson.
Samuel Christian Quinones.
Thomas Yevgeny Zayol.
Aubrey Grace Perkins.
Mallory Agnes Phillips.
Caitlin Michelle Pisarchik.
Cameron Riley Pienka.
Shannon Elizabeth Petrulis.
Alyssa Michelle Pilicino.
Hannah Molly Ann Phillips.
Natalie Ann Plymale.
Parker Eugene Phillips.
Adrian Marie Popovich.
Zachary Edward Pierce.
Marina Ray Prentice.
Maria Catherine Pistoni.
Hannah Grace Prock.
Owen Joseph Pontius.
Jesse Carter Ray.
Alessandra Preciado.
Dylan Tyler Rutkowski.
Julia Pearl Presser.
Kara May Rizavi.
Preston Scott Pennington.
Morgan Elizabeth Ray.
Carly Elizabeth Ramuni.
Logan James Rekoff.
Faith Eileen Rollins.
Garrett Mitchell Ryder.
Robert Wesley Rollins III.
Haley Elizabeth Ricksecker.
Nicole Marie Rollins.
Casey Ann Roach.
Rihanna Joy Reddick.
Miley Gladys Roberts.
Summer Cheyenne Rickman.
Cole John Gilbert Rosenwald.
Grace Ellen Rieger.
James Timothy Rowan II.
Catherine Lynn Roberts.
Agnes Vivian Rupp.
Samantha Ray Wyatt.
Tyler William Rainier.
Genevieve Ann Ross.
Veda Nicole Saleme.
Kennedy Marie Rudolph.
Tyler Marie Sampson.
Noah David Rupel.
Alyssa Brianna Shell.
Nathan Scott Sable.
Ryan Edward Shinley.
Gregory Michael Samsel.
Jaden Marie Schlott.
Anthony Giovanni Santavica.
Sophia Grace Shoke.
Giovanni Robert Shepis.
Matthew Jordan Schust.
Reagan Savannah Shermer.
Jay Gordon Meldrum.
Devin Robert Schneider.
Anna Severina.
Brennan Christopher Schramm.
Caitlin Elizabeth Shipe.
Graham Alexander Scott.
Macy Elizabeth Maxworthy.
Wayne Edward Syak.
Ella K. Silvis.
Quinn Robert Hayden.
Leo Nicholas Simpson.
Anthony Brian Schock.
Olivia Catherine Sipsock.
Noah Jackson Schumann.
Benjamin Allen Sluter.
Aiden Ray Simpson.
Alexandria Kate Smith.
Noah John Simpson.
Gabriel Christian Smith.
Braden Philip Scozen.
Julia Ann Smith.
Kaylee Marianne Smallage.
Maxwell David Smith.
Christopher William Smith.
Sydney Nicole Solis.
Hunter Brandon Smith.
Anthony Robert Stabile.
Lillian Marie Smith.
Mia Joelle Stabile.
Jason Miguel Salas Hernandez.
Giovanni Ignatius Stabile.
Joy Wen Faye Spears.
Nolan Sean Stevens.
Cody Ryan Steffen.
Joseph James Storm.
Nathan Matthew Stankovich.
Grace Elizabeth Sturgill.
Mark Anthony Steinmetz.
Carly Suzanne Sugar.
Brennan Thomas Stobbs.
Andrew John Supers V.
Trenton Donald Strebel.
Luke Alexander Savek.
Cameron Allison Suddeth.
Joshua Charles Swanson.
Matthew Joseph Sulix.
Landon James Sorowski.
James Elliott Sutton.
Megan Elizabeth Takis.
Sarah Catherine Svensson.
Andrew Christopher Talbert.
Aaron Matthew Swihart.
Kara Victoria Tubal.
Jacob Michael Taft.
Cassidy Joyce Thomas.
Jeffrey Michael Taft.
Jordan Christian Tishner.
Meredith Danielle Terepka.
Zaria Nicole Todd.
Zachary Robert Tubner.
Emily Ann Tallis.
Nikolai Adams Thornton.
Emily Elizabeth Tondra.
Courtney Brooke Maruna.
Daniel Thomas Toth.
Madeline L. Todorovich.
Samantha Marie Trippi.
Nicholas Frank Tomorrow.
Alyssa Ryan Tyna.
Isaac David Torres.
Sophia Noel Urbis.
Teen Thumb Kyla Tran.
Jose Milquildes Valencia IV.
Nicole Ariana Tursick.
Catherine Elizabeth Vanover.
Luke Patrick Turpak.
Morgan Paige Vogel.
Maxwell Stephen U. Vegas.
Patience Marie Walters.
Alexander David Vano.
Clayton Edward Warnke.
Ivan Vasilovich.
Amelia Lynn Webb.
Elizabeth Rose Waldron.
Aaron Tyler Weersing.
Ethan Philip Waldron.
Haley Faye Weil.
Alyssa Christine Washburn.
Nathan Drew Worthmuller.
Ethan Craig Webb.
Owen Carter Williams.
Martha Elizabeth White.
Allie Jewel Wilson.
Grace Addison Wellman.
Austin Philip Wright.
Alexis Winter White.
Christopher Brian Burris.
Victoria Ann Williams.
Saliana Renee Iree Washington.
James Jeffrey Worcester.
Luke Nathan Klanick.
Adam Raymond Timmons.
Jacob Tyler Nunn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2023. I would now ask Senior Class President Ella Maria DeCola to come forward and lead the class in the tradition of turning their tassels.
As president of the senior class, I now ask all of you to join me in the turning of the tassel to signify our graduation.
At this time, I would like to call our concert choir officers, Allison Grace Custer, Lydia Grace Ilg, and Preston Ford Trumpler to the stage to sing our alma mater. The words are located in the inside back cover of your programs. Please rise for the singing of the alma mater.
Sing the praise of our Medina, to her will ever be true, joining all in each endeavor, each day our purpose renew, courage ever showing strength, ever growing on to victory going fight Medina. Sing the praise of our Medina, to her will ever be true.
Students, please be seated and remain seated for the stage to recess out. Thank you for a wonderful afternoon. Congratulations, class of 2023. Now, for the final time, I present to you the Medina High School class of 2023.